It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Buffalo Beauts NWHL player, Brooke Stacey. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to play professional hockey?
It actually took a year off for me to realize that I wanted to play. I took a year off after the University of Maine, just kind of fell away from the game a little bit. I didn't enjoy it per se. I didn't enjoy going to the rink and stuff like that. So I didn't really want to jump right into another season after graduating from UMaine. So I did go out to Europe to play for the playoffs over there. And that kind of, I guess, put me back on the track of playing professional hockey.
Can you talk about, of course, your playing career at UMaine?
Yeah, so I went into the University of Maine in 2014. My freshman year, I was honored as the freshman of the year for the University of Maine. It was a couple of years were pretty rough, personally and hockey wise, but overall, it was a great experience with my teammates. I made a lot of lifelong friends, and we did really well my senior year. We actually made it to the semifinals of Hockey East for the first time in UMaine history, I guess, for the women's team. So that was really exciting. Yeah, so that was kind of my experience at UMaine.
That's some great accomplishments. What was your time like playing for the Linköping HC?
That was an interesting experience. It was a little bit difficult because I was off for on there. I definitely was lacking in the hockey area. It was pretty difficult, but I tried my best. It was cool to be out in Linköping, Sweden. I did make a friend who I'm still in contact with, so I'm grateful for that. And again, like I said a while ago, it led me to want to play hockey again, just being able to play for fun.
What was it like signing to play for the Sweden Hockey League?
It was a difficult decision because I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to play again. And it was also a pretty big commitment to fly all the way to Sweden with the time change. And I had a partner in Maine. So it was, I was going into long distance with that. So it was a lot to take into mind before making that decision. Overall, it was a great experience. I didn't have a bad time in Sweden at all. I didn't enjoy the food, which is like the only problem. And I did have my own apartment by myself, which had its positives and negatives, I guess you could say. So yeah, I guess it was a pretty cool experience.
For the playing time, can you talk about, of course, some of the similarities and differences between the Swedish Hockey League versus the NWHL?
The biggest one would definitely be the rink size. In Europe, they have Olympic size ice sheets, which are a lot bigger than the regular ice sheets when you're actually out there playing. I think there's a couple other rules. I can't remember the specifics, but I think there's a couple of rules that are different. I think face-offs or something. I can't remember the specifics, but other than that, I didn't notice much difference.
What was it like for the first time putting on your first professional jersey?
I don't think I'm someone who thinks too much into that. It's always cool to put a new jersey on, and usually you're pretty, like, for me, I'm usually pretty nervous, like, it's my first game type of thing, but it's not, I guess, anything that's like extraordinary or anything like that. It's just, it's a new thing all the time. So I guess it's just a cool new experience.
What was it like whenever you signed with the Buffalo Beauts for the first time?
I was pretty excited for that. I had been talking to Mandy for a little bit, and she definitely drew me into the team. And once I got there, I had no regrets about my decision. Our team was awesome to be with, like, on and off the ice, just as a group. So it was a really good experience to sign with them.
What was it like coming back this year after having a baby and coming back with the Buffalo Beauts under a new GM?
It was hard. I did have an unplanned C-section, so it pushed my recovery back quite a bit compared to a regular vaginal birth. So I definitely had to put in a lot of effort before going up to Buffalo for practices and try to prepare myself as much as I could physically. I was lucky enough to have an at-home gym, and I didn't have to risk going to public gyms and catching COVID and all that. So it was very helpful that I had a gym at home to use. With the new manager, I knew Nate. He's an amazing person, an amazing GM. We had been talking. I actually was talking to Mandy while I was pregnant, and I was like, I want to come back. Like, I think I can do it. Like, even before I had the baby. And then, like, as I said, I did end up having the C-section that wasn't planned. So, it pushed it back a lot. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to, if I had him September 1st and then to be ready by the beginning of January. I was like, there's not even a month time for me to physically prepare. So I was like, there's no way. And then I found out about the bubble from Nate. And I was like, oh, okay, at the end of January. I don't know why in my head I thought this would be a good idea, but it gave me an extra month. It gave me, I think I had 4 or 5 weeks once I could actually start working out, because you have a period of time where you can't work out after having a C-section. So I'm pretty sure I had like 4 or 5 weeks to physically prepare. So I definitely put my head in the game, and I tried to get on the ice as much as I could and skate myself. And I sat on the bike almost every day doing bike sprints. I wanted to be as prepared as I could with my own circumstance. But I don't regret going. I definitely think I needed to get back onto the ice, especially if I want to play this year.
What was it like coming back this year and playing inside the bubble?
It was a unique experience. I was happy to be there because I was finally able to be social. Because I was pregnant when COVID started, I think, maybe 4 months into my pregnancy. And obviously COVID was very unknown. So I was very scared. So I didn't see a single friend except maybe one until like my baby shower, where I saw people at the distance and stuff. So I was really happy that I could finally be social with my friends. And then the competitiveness, I thought this year went up like a whole lot. Like, I thought the skill and talent that the league brought in this season has really changed the game for every single game you play. So it was definitely good that I was able to get back into that, because it would have been hard to jump into after a year off if I do go back this year.
Can you talk about now being a role model for not just the NWHL, but for all professional athletes to be a mother and come back and still be able to play professional sports?
Yeah, I think it's important to have a life outside of being a mom. Obviously, it's really important, your role as a mom, but it's also important to have your, I guess, hobby or whatever you enjoy doing away from a mom. Like, for me, it definitely, like, it's it's something that you can get away to when you need it. Like being a mom is definitely mentally tasking. You know, you're losing sleep. Sometimes you have a crying baby who can't talk, so you don't really know what's going on. So you gotta, you know, figure that out. And sometimes it's really mentally hard, even when you have a whole village helping you. So I think it's definitely important for moms to be able to see someone who is following their dreams and being a mom. And just because you do something outside of being a mom doesn't mean you're a bad mom. Like you're allowed to still make decisions for yourself and not just for the baby. Like some people might, I don't know if anyone would think that's bad, but you have to have a life outside of just your baby because you are a person and eventually they're going to be full grown adults or going to university, and you have to know what you enjoy for just yourself.
How has it been so far during COVID? How has it been as the NWHL has become more popular during COVID? Whether it's y'all being in the Cup, the Isabel Cup, and playing national and getting all the spotlight, along with some of y'all's future plans for the league.
I think COVID definitely had an impact this year. As you probably know, the bubble did shut down early and we weren't able to name a champion for the Isabel Cup in Lake Placid, but the NWHL definitely did everything they could to make this season as successful as it could be with everything that's going on. It's pretty incredible that we have a bunch of people behind us in the league that are making sure that everything goes as smoothly as it possibly could. Like there were definitely some bumps, but I think the NWHL did everything that they thought they could to make sure that we were all safe. I think they're definitely making strides in women's hockey, and I think it's going to keep back with the NWHL. So it's exciting, and I'm excited to see the progress that it makes throughout the years.
Can you talk about, of course, your time playing in Lake Placid?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult, especially the first couple days. I was away from my baby, and he was 5 months old, so that was pretty hard. I had to kind of convince myself not to feel guilty about it. I like the first couple days I was feeling guilty just enjoying Netflix in bed, quiet, because that doesn't happen with a newborn baby. So I definitely had to get out of that mindset of feeling guilty, and then I was able to finally enjoy myself and not feel that guilt. And then once I was back on the ice, it was just fun to be with my teammates. And it was hard even with playing mentally because I knew I wasn't where I was last year. But then I had to remember, like, I just had a major surgery 5 months ago, so that I think made me probably mentally stronger as an athlete, like just not being so hard on myself because, it was kind of out of my control. And what I could control was getting as in shape as I could with how much time I had. So, it definitely was a mental challenge, but it was fun to be back with my teammates, and we had a good time for the time that we were able to be together because it was just kind of at the rink and then our walks from the hotel to the rink. So it was fun.
As you prepare for this upcoming season, what are some of the things that you are preparing for?
Well, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be able to play depending on my living situation. Right now I'm in Saco, Maine, which is a little too far from all the teams, and I would want to play for Connecticut if I'm in Maine, but Connecticut, it's like 4 hours from here where they're located. So right now it's all up in the air, and it depends if we move to Connecticut, and then I would be able to kind of see if it's doable with travel and stuff. So I guess I'm not necessarily preparing too much for anything just yet because there's no knowing at this moment what is going to happen. So I've been kind of just being a mom, and I'm a stay at home while his dad's at work. So that's kind of my main focus right now. And then once things become more clear, then I'll start planning out what steps I need to take.
What advice would you give upcoming future college athletes looking to play professional?
I would tell them that it's very different than college hockey. Yeah, it's serious, and you want to win, and you come to the rink every day, and you have to put in the effort, and you need to work hard. But for me, and I think a lot of other NWHL players, there's not that pressure to always like be your best. Like, yeah, you want to be your best, but it's not that pressure feeling behind it. Like at Maine, I was scared to make mistakes, like it wasn't like it wasn't, I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you come to the rink, like you're not afraid of anything. Like you're just there to have fun. You're there to have fun, and you still work hard and whatnot, but there's not that pressure behind it where it makes you like super stressed out or like makes you to the point where you don't want to come to the rink. So I think to college females who want to come into the league, that they should definitely give it a try. Even if they had a bad experience in college and they're like, nah, I don't like hockey anymore, like all that kind of stuff. Like I was there, like I hated hockey, like I hated going to the rink, and coming in with the Buffalo Beauts like completely changed my perspective. And I thank Mandy for that. And I told her this before, like I was like, I love hockey again. Like, thank you for letting me have this opportunity to, fall in love with the sport again, because it's just like so much fun and everyone's just like relaxed. So that would be my advice, just to go for it, because it's a lot different.
What advice would you give upcoming professional athletes and current professional athletes looking to play?
I would just say to go for it. You definitely have to prepare physically, because I think the league is improving every year. I think the league is bringing in better players every year. So it's definitely getting a lot more competitive. Just last year to this year, I think the competitiveness increased dramatically. So it's definitely to make sure that you're staying focused and staying in shape to compete.
What advice would you give professional athletes that are mothers that are balancing the mother life and professional life?
I would say not to feel guilty about it. With professional sports, you do have to put in the time. You have to put in the time to train. You have to put in the time to go on the ice, and it's just not to feel guilty about it. You get to spend your time with your child still. I'm sure they're in good hands with whoever you leave them with when you go to the rink or go to the gym and whatnot. And even like for me, when I was working out at home, I would have to stop and breastfeed him, and I would stop my workout, and then I would come back, and it would be too long for me to kind of go back into the set I was doing, but then I would just continue with something else. So it's just kind of having the mentality that it's even during workouts, it's okay to take your break and then go back into it. Like you don't have to be super consistent and a set schedule. Like I was sometimes working out at 8 p.m. Sometimes I was working out at 2. Like you just kind of go with the flow and try to enjoy it as much as you can.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
On Instagram, my handle is B_Stacey27. On Twitter, it's Brooke Stacey 27. I think I got those right.
Thank you again, Brooke Stacey, for your interview, and best of luck in your future, wherever it may hold you in the professional NWHL.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Brooke Stacey, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media, and on YouTube.